Ayakwe, Naknamalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian. Today I will be the Your Answer Can't Be Books tag. I wasn't tagged by anyone, I just felt like doing this. I will leave the original video down in the description but down below. I believe it was created by BookBuds channel. I've been seeing this go around a couple times. Like I said, no one tagged me, I just felt like doing it. So, hope you enjoy. The first question is, what do you own way too much of that isn't books? That depends on who you ask. My mom would say clothes, and my partner would say candy. I guess ultimately probably knickknacks. I always like the thought of not cluttering a space, but obviously I do a terrible job at it, particularly when it comes to like desk areas or shelf areas. I enjoy like just little useless, I wouldn't say useless, just little things that kind of just help put my personality into the space. I don't want to say useless because yeah, ultimately they just sit there, but at the same time they're giving me happiness. They're giving me memories. They're making me happy. I have like a bunch of just kind of stuff around, whether people have just given it to me. This was an ornament given to me by my grandmother because she knows that I love marine life. The same with this little jellyfish glass bauble. This I got for myself because I thought it looked really cool. The perfume, it's actually a perfume bottle, but the perfume itself is actually kind of relatively cheap. It just smells like cheap artificial apple with alcohol. And then like what I've showed before, this reminds me of my brother who passed away, and so I enjoy it. I thought it was perfect to represent him in my life. So yeah, just little things like that I have scattered around. Like I have various Funko Pops of like different varieties because I enjoy those fandoms, things that make me happy and put my stamp on a location. My other brother recently gifted me this, which I think is absolutely hilarious. I had posted it in my Instagram stories the day he gave it to me just because there's a whole series of these, I guess, but I thought it was really sweet because he ended up asking me going, what's your favorite original starter Pokemon? I'm like, Bulbasaur. And a few days later this shows up and he's like, oh yeah, this is for you. And I'm just like, what? Absolutely love it. And yeah, so I like just those little things. The next question is, what is something that you do for fun that is not reading? I like plants. These I also have scattered around, not so much like house plants. I tend to be fairly bad at that. Though like I have 3 right now that I'm surprised haven't died. I have a 4th one that is dead. But I recently got this cool little water mister thing to help me remind me to water my plants, particularly my fern. I have rabbit foot fern that has seen better days, but like it's constantly needing moisture because it's a fern, which you would think I would know that living in a rainforesty area, but I am terrible when it comes to houseplants. I tend to forget that I have them. I also like experimenting with like rejuvenating plants that I get from like the store. So this is an avocado seed that has sprouted. My partner says it seems like a flaky commitment because this avocado trees take 12 years to mature, and this is less than a year old, but it has like 4 leaves and a little nub right here and a decent alien type root that has some kind of white fungus on it that I'm not sure what it is. But I constantly like experimenting like that. I have jars and jars of green onions in my kitchen windowsill because if you chop off the root portion, and leave the little white nub and use the rest, you can put that in water and it'll regrow. So I do that, and I'm constantly doing that with other things, like if you have a head of romaine or a red leaf or green leaf lettuce and you still have that section that they chop off the roots typically, but that section that the leaves come out of, and you chop it and you put it in water, more leaves will grow. It won't be consistent to actually like plant later, but it'll be enough to like use it a couple times. I enjoy doing stuff like that. The same can be done with celery. I also really enjoy illustrating. I haven't done it very often lately just because I haven't had like been in the right mindset, but I enjoy doing this. I do have a shop that my mom and I run on Etsy that we sell our artwork as prints, as mugs, etc. So I'll leave that down below if you're interested in checking it out. I like gardening to a point. It's getting kind of wintry and rainy and wet, and I need to go out and prep my garden for winter so that the weeds don't take over. My strawberry plants survived last winter, and I like the idea of dedicating multiple of my raised garden beds to strawberries so that I can start making something more out of them, because as it was, I only had 3 strawberry plants and I would get like 1 strawberry every now and then. So now I have like a whole 2 whole raised beds dedicated to strawberries, so that hopefully I can get more in abundance and maybe make some jam. That's another thing I like doing is making jam. Or like I also like foraging, so like we'll go and get huckleberries or blackberries. Occasionally we'll go get mussels if they're not toxic. I enjoy fishing. There's a lot of things I just enjoy. I like getting my hands into things and being able to create something. And most of the time, if we have a good year, this last year wasn't very great just because we are still in a drought. So a lot of the berries weren't coming in quite right. But if I get enough of them every year, like I like making jam or like baked goods and giving it to people for Christmas. So I think that's just the best. I also knit, I also sew, and it really just depends on my mood and depends on what I'm doing currently. So like right now I'm fairly focused on reading. Right now I'm currently knitting. I don't have it currently, but I can show a clip of it. I'm currently knitting a lap blanket for someone for Christmas, and I have to sew here shortly. Question 3 is, what is something special and important to you that is not a book that is on your nightstand? I do have a lot of books on my nightstand and some unmentionables that I won't put here. Something that is typically next to my nightstand that's not a book is this. If you've seen Adventure Time, you'll know that this is one of the swords that Finn the human ends up receiving at one point. This it's just plastic and it's a toy, but I mean, it's very important to me. So I have 3 younger siblings. One of my brothers have passed away, and my other brother, he got all of us siblings of his swords from Adventure Time. So I have 2 of them because I actually kept our other brothers. My other brother had picked this one. Yeah, and so when he passed away, I kept it and keep it next to my nightstand as a sort of, I don't know. I know people that keep like weapons next to their nightstands in case of an intruder, and this is my choice. It's probably not the best one, but I enjoy it. So yeah. Question 4 is, what's something that you get at the bookstore other than books? Sometimes I'll get bookmarks. Also get postcards. Sorry if you can hear my animals freaking out. I'll also get postcards if they're relatively interesting. I believe at one point Northtown Books had a collector's edition of a bunch of postcards that were by that was the art of James Jean, who is one of my favorite artists. He's a surrealist, and I absolutely love his work. But yeah, I'll like, if anything's of interest, I'll tend to get it. Sometimes sketchbooks, sometimes journals. If I am at a Barnes and Noble, typically the closest Barnes and Noble is 4 hours away, so I don't go very often. But when I do go, I tend to get coffee. Or planners. They tend to have very good planners that I like looking at. Or games. like board games. I really enjoy getting board games from them too. Question 5 is, what is a fun gift that you received that wasn't a book or a gift card for books? Again, like I said, my brother, like, recently he's gotten better at doing gifts, but he does it about the same as my mom and I, which, like, it's one of those moments where I'm like, yeah, we're related. My mom and I are terrible at giving gifts, or particularly saving gifts for special occasions. So like for birthdays or Christmas, like we know months ahead, like, oh, we should be doing this. And then we'll get something and we'll be so excited to give that person their gift that we'll just give it to them like a month in advance. So my brother's kind of like that too, where he'll see something, he'll think of us, and he'll get it now, and he'll just hand it to us. So it's fantastic. And one of those moments was, for instance, the Bulbasaur Strongman. And the other instance was this book holder. So what you're supposed to do, I think I got another one of these at one point. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, I got one in a book box once. And it was like, I didn't mind it, but once my brother gave me this one, I was just like, oh yeah, this is like way better. So you're supposed to keep it on your thumb, and then just when you're reading a book in bed or something, it helps hold this open. So right now I'm not reading a very big book, so I don't quite use it as often as I would like, but I still think it's really cool and useful. So there's that. My partner got me a really cool old sewing machine. It's Singer from the 1920s. I have yet to use it because it needs a new belt, but he found it online or something. He found it he went to like various different yard sales around here locally and ended up finding one. It was kind of beat up, so he like took it to his grandpa's house and fixed it up, polished it, oiled it, and made sure it worked. So it works. I just need a new belt because the belt has like a big old staple in it where it came apart. So, and I need to figure out how to sew on it without getting any of the machine oil on fabric. That I don't quite understand, but it's like an old school pedal, so you don't need to plug it in or anything. So that I've absolutely loved. It's unfortunately just kind of a piece that sits aside, but I really enjoy it. And of course, jewelry is probably another thing that I own too much of, but I don't consider it too much. These earrings were made by a good friend of mine. Question 6 is, what's a YouTube channel that you watch that is not related to books? I find when I'm in like a depressed mood, I tend to watch a lot of the Graham Norton show compilations. I think that talk show, it's a talk show that is based in the UK, and it's Graham Norton who is the talk show host, and he brings on celebrities from the UK as well as from the US and other places, like these like big celebrities, as well as like a musician typically. I absolutely love it because it's like not like any talk show we have here in the United States. I think this is very wholesome and funny. It tends to he's come here before and was on like the Stephen Colbert show and other places, and he's described it as like, because celebrities open up to him, he's made remarks about that's because they give him alcohol. But it's more than that. Like one of my favorite clips is Sir Ian McAdams and Sir Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman all on the bench, or the red couch. I think they're chairs now after the pandemic. I haven't watched any of the recent ones, but my favorite is those three talking about different Sir Ian McKellen's and Sir Patrick Stewart's acting history, being on Broadway, doing musicals, and just like their camaraderie, because they've been in the X-Men franchise for so long, I believe. And I think it was to promote Logan. So this was back in 2017. But it was just so cute and so just heartwarming. Hugh Jackman's mom was in the audience, and it was just adorable. Their relationship, their friendships are it's just so cute. And of course they had some hilarious stories to tell. So I love watching and rewatching that particular episode, particularly when I'm in a depressed mood. It just kind of lifts me up a bit more. Other ones, I'll occasionally look at bullet journal inspiration videos. A lot of like try not to eat, or like guess these celebrity snacks, or guess which snacks these celebrities like, or like these like taste test videos of like weird combinations of food that like celebrities like to eat, and then it's like having to guess which celebrities. One in particular that I really enjoyed, it was like tasting the last meals of serial killers, or there was even one on tasting the last meals of dictators, or their favorite meals. It was super weird, but super cool. I don't know, it was just odd. And 7 is to tag YouTubers that you want to know more about. If you have not been tagged yet, consider yourself tagged, and link it down in the comments below. I'd love to see it. Hopefully this wasn't too bad of a get to know me type tag. If you made it this far, be sure to hit the like button, and if you have yet to do so already, subscribe, hit the little bell icon to get notified when I post more content. Otherwise, yeah, I will see you in another video very soon. Ciao.